Welcome to the Pathways to Surrender podcast. I'm Michael Warmoth, and thank you for joining us for this guided meditation. Please note that these meditations are recorded in a tropical setting with the windows and doors open, so you will hear birds and other sounds. Try not to let them distract you from the words. Let's take a moment now to just get settled in, get comfortable and relaxed. Maybe close our eyes and take some breaths and just listen to the music before the meditation starts. Do you know the experience of having complete faith and trust in something other than your own control, your own ego? In other words, having faith and trust in something you can't control. You may have seen those exercises where someone is standing behind you and someone in front of you pushes you, and you're supposed to fall and trust that the person behind you will catch you. You have no control over that person. You have to trust. When it comes to our practice, and we are seeking to let go of control, we need to have trust and faith that there is something there. Because most of us have developed the idea that without the ego, without the control, without the identity, there is nothing. But we know also that that is not true. There is something that isn't the identity and the ego. Something that we cannot control. What most of us haven't realized is that we can trust in it completely, to always be there. We have heard before that there is that within us which knows the presence of the infinite within us. And so the practice of letting go of control, letting go of the ego, is a trust exercise. If you imagine being the person who is about to be pushed and has to trust in that person behind them to catch them, there can be a great deal of doubt and misgiving. Fear will come up. The same thing occurs when parachutists jump out of an airplane. They have to have absolute faith and trust that their parachute is going to open. If there's any doubt and misgiving, a great amount of fear will arise. They may not be able to make themselves jump. So if you want to know why you may encounter a great deal of resistance when it comes to letting go and surrendering, answer lies in the question of faith and trust. How much do you trust there is something about you that is not the ego and the identity, that is not controlled by you, that is always there, that is capable of guiding you? It is not reasonable to expect that we will just have an innate sense of trust and faith and let go. Our trust and faith was shaken when we were betrayed, when we found out that our authentic self was not welcome. And so, how can we recover that faith and trust? We must dedicate ourselves to uncovering that within us which knows the truth, of making conscious that knowing within us. That requires that we take the risk of letting go, that we willingly choose to become present and be available to the truth within us. must be clear about what is true and what the process of reconnecting what that truth is. The truth is infinite and timeless. It is the only thing there is, there ever was, and there ever will be. The truth is known to us when our mind is open, when it is not distracted by the noise of the ego and the identity. The mind is more than the brain. Mind encompasses the whole body, the whole nervous system, and more, because actually the mind is part of the universal mind, the one mind. But we have broken the connection, or should we say blocked it, because it is not broken. We are just imagining things that aren't true and believing in them as real. Nothing is actually broken. The truth has not been lost. It is as true as it ever was, and is as real as it ever is right now within you. Nothing can change that. The blocking of the truth requires effort. Control is effort. The ego, the identity are effort. They are how we spend our creative energy in a negative way, a way that limits, controls, and restricts. We must become conscious of that effort we are making. We can feel it if we open our minds. And once we become conscious of it, we can do something else. We can let go of it. We can stop the effort. All of this feels like a risk. We are afraid of what will be there without our ego and our identity. We are afraid of what we can't control. And so we must remind ourselves of the truth. What is there besides control and the identity? What lives within us? It is a divine and loving intelligence, a creative power, an infinite consciousness, experienced as light and love. It is energy. It is power. But what is most important is that it is unified. It is the only thing there is. There is no duality. There is no judgment, no condemnation, no rules. It is unconditional because it is all there is. And in that knowing, the knowing of that, there is great peace, great love, great joy, absolute harmony. That is what awaits us when we take the risk of letting go. The best way to build our faith and trust is to test it, to take the risk and see what we find. But if we aren't focused on knowing the truth, if our intention isn't clear, if we are trying to do the right thing, be the right way, trying to correct some issue with ourselves, we will be trapped in a circular pattern of frustration and resistance because we are attempting to use the tools of the ego. Letting go means letting go of the ego, surrendering the conflict between our authentic selves and the ego. Giving up the choice to live by control. That is where the key to our transformation lies. It is that choice, the choice to turn away from our authentic self and live by a set of rules that we have created ourselves. There are no rules. You can't get it right. There is no such thing. There is only the loving divine presence of the infinite is truly all there is. Everything as an expression of that power and creativity. We are blessed in that we have the capacity to know that. We have turned away from it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what is. Now we are waking up. Consider carefully what you trust. What is your faith in? Is it only in what you can control? When it is in the truth, when you trust completely in that one consciousness, that is when miracles become real. When love is dominant, we must practice returning our faith and trust to the truth instead of control, so that we can live in the peace that is the reality of our being.
Thank you for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you would like more information on these meditations and teachings, you can visit pathwaystosurrender.com. You might be interested in our other podcast, Pathways to Wholeness. These are episodes of meditative teachings designed to help us move to the next step in our journey, letting go, learning to surrender, overcoming resistance. That's Pathways to Wholeness. Look for the next episode soon. We'll be uploading them every couple of days. See you next time.